There comes a moment in life when you look around and no one is walking beside you. The friends you trusted are gone. The voices that once encouraged you are silent. The path feels quiet, too quiet. And in that silence, a dangerous thought enters your mind. What if something is wrong with me? But what if the truth is the opposite? What if the reason you are walking alone is not because you were rejected, but because you were selected? Stay with this message until the end, because by the time you finish listening, you will never again fear isolation, loneliness, or separation. You will understand why the most impactful lives are shaped in hidden places, and why those who walk alone often carry the greatest assignment. Every great calling begins with separation. Before strength is revealed publicly, character is refined privately. Before authority is trusted, loyalty is tested. Before clarity is given, confusion is allowed. Walking alone is the environment where distractions are removed. No applause, no validation, no shortcuts. This is where motives are purified. This is where ego dies and purpose awakens. If everyone could walk this road, everyone would carry this calling, but they cannot. That is why the path narrows. Some people cannot walk with you, not because they are evil, but because they are not assigned. Your vision threatens comfort. Your growth exposes stagnation. Your discipline makes excuses uncomfortable. So separation happens naturally. Not every connection is meant to last forever. Some are seasonal, and seasons change. When the crowd leaves, it feels painful, but it is protection. Because the next level requires focus, not familiarity. When you are alone, something dangerous happens to fear. You begin to hear clearly. You begin to think deeply. You begin to grow intentionally. No noise, no comparison, no pressure to perform. Solitude is not emptiness, it is training. This is where resilience is formed. This is where self-leadership is mastered. This is where inner strength replaces external approval. Those who cannot sit alone will never stand strong. Loneliness is not meant to break you. It is meant to wake you up. It signals transition. It announces transformation. It confirms that the old version of you no longer fits the future you. Do not run back to familiar places just because they feel safe. Comfort can delay destiny. Sometimes walking alone is the only way forward. Here is the truth few understand. If everyone had access to you now, they would misuse you later. The process protects what is precious. The delay builds capacity. The isolation develops authority. When the time comes, you will not beg for acceptance. You will walk with confidence. Because you will know who you are. You will know why you were chosen. And you will know that walking alone was never punishment. It was preparation. So if you are walking alone today, do not panic. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are being shaped. One day, the very solitude you questioned will become the strength others admire. And when people ask how you became so grounded, so focused, so unshaken, you will know the answer. You learned how to walk alone before you were trusted to lead others. Isolation is not rejection, it is preparation. This truth is difficult to accept because the human heart naturally associates togetherness with safety and separation with loss. When people begin to disappear from your life, when familiar support fades, and when the path ahead feels unusually quiet, the first reaction is often self-doubt. You start questioning your worth, your decisions, and even your purpose. But separation is rarely accidental. It is intentional, purposeful, and necessary for growth that cannot happen in crowded spaces. Before anything meaningful is elevated, it must first be isolated. Gold is separated from dirt. Diamonds are formed under pressure, hidden deep beneath the surface. Strength is not developed in comfort, and calling is not revealed in noise. Separation creates an environment where distractions are removed and clarity is forced. When there is no one left to lean on, you are compelled to stand on your own convictions. This is not cruelty, it is training. Isolation strips away false identities. When applause is gone and encouragement is absent, you are left face to face with who you truly are. There is no image to maintain, no expectations to perform for, no crowd to impress. This is where authenticity is formed. Purpose cannot rest on borrowed confidence. It must be rooted in inner certainty. That certainty only grows when external validation is taken away. Preparation often feels like punishment because it does not explain itself in the moment. You may feel overlooked while others are celebrated. You may feel delayed while others advance. But preparation works quietly, invisibly, and deeply. It strengthens the foundation long before the structure becomes visible. Elevation without preparation is dangerous. It creates collapse. That is why separation comes first, to ensure that when elevation arrives, you are able to sustain it. Isolation also exposes motives. When no one is watching, intentions become clear. Are you still committed when no reward is immediate? Are you still disciplined when no one is applauding? Are you still faithful when progress seems slow? These questions cannot be answered in public moments. They are answered in private seasons. Separation reveals whether your pursuit is driven by purpose or by praise. Many people want elevation without separation, influence without refinement, and visibility without responsibility. But the process does not work that way. Those who are entrusted with impact must first learn restraint. Those who are trusted with leadership must first master self-leadership. Separation builds emotional strength, mental discipline, and spiritual maturity. It teaches patience, resilience, and focus. These qualities cannot be downloaded or inherited. They are developed over time in quiet places. It is important to understand that separation does not mean abandonment. You are not being pushed away, you are being pulled forward. The absence of familiar voices creates space for a deeper voice to emerge, the voice of wisdom, direction, and inner conviction. When the noise fades, discernment sharpens. You begin to recognize what truly matters and what no longer serves your future. Preparation through isolation also protects you. Not everyone who walks with you today is equipped to handle who you are becoming tomorrow. Early exposure can lead to misunderstanding, envy, or unnecessary interference. Separation acts as a shield, allowing growth to happen without interruption. It keeps the process sacred and the purpose intact. One day, the season of preparation ends. Elevation comes naturally, not forced. Confidence replaces insecurity because it was forged in solitude. Authority replaces anxiety because it was built in silence. When recognition arrives, it does not change you because you already know who you are. That is the reward of preparation. So if you are in a season of isolation, do not rush to escape it. Do not label it as failure. Do not mistake silence for disfavor. This is the place where strength is assembled, vision is clarified, and destiny is shaped. Isolation is not rejection. It is evidence that something greater is being prepared within you. Silence shapes strength in ways that noise never can. In a world that celebrates constant connection, visibility, and affirmation, silence feels uncomfortable, even threatening. It creates space where there is nothing to hide behind. No opinions to echo, no crowd to blend into, no distractions to dull awareness. Yet it is within this quiet space that true strength is formed, because strength that depends on external voices collapses the moment those voices disappear. When life becomes silent, the mind becomes louder. Thoughts rise that were once buried under activity and conversation. Doubts, fears, unresolved questions, and hidden insecurities all surface. Many people escape this moment by filling the silence with noise, constant entertainment, relationships, or validation. But those who endure silence instead of running from it begin to develop inner mastery. They learn to confront themselves honestly, without filters or excuses. This confrontation is uncomfortable, but it is essential. Strength is not the absence of fear, it is the ability to face it without being controlled by it. Silence also sharpens discernment. When external input is reduced, internal awareness increases. You begin to notice patterns, motives, and truths that were previously ignored. Decisions become clearer, not because answers appear instantly, but because confusion loses its power. Silence teaches you to listen deeply, not just to circumstances, but to intuition, conscience, and inner wisdom. This kind of listening cannot happen in chaos. It requires stillness. Emotional strength is forged in quiet endurance. When no one sees the struggle, when no one understands the weight you carry, and when no reassurance is offered, something shifts inside you. You learn to self-regulate instead of reacting. You learn patience instead of impulsiveness. You learn resilience instead of dependence. These are not dramatic victories. They are slow, invisible transformations. But they are permanent. Silence removes the illusion of control. Without constant interaction, you realize how little you can manipulate outcomes and how much must be surrendered. This surrender is not weakness, it is maturity. It teaches humility and trust. You begin to accept timing instead of forcing results. You begin to value depth over speed. Strength grows not from rushing forward, but from standing firm when nothing seems to be moving. In silence, identity is rebuilt. When titles, roles, and recognition are stripped away, what remains is essence. You discover who you are without approval and who you are without applause. This is where confidence becomes rooted, not in success or popularity, but in self-awareness. A person who knows themselves cannot be easily shaken. Criticism loses its power. Comparison fades. Approval becomes unnecessary. This is the strength that silence creates. Mental discipline also develops in quiet seasons. Focus sharpens when distractions are limited. Thoughts become intentional instead of scattered. You learn to think before reacting, to plan instead of panic. Silence trains the mind to be still, and a still mind sees clearly. From clarity comes wisdom, and from wisdom comes confident action. Those shaped by silence do not seek attention, they command respect naturally. Their presence is calm, steady, and grounded. They do not need to speak constantly because their words carry weight when they do. This authority is not loud, but it is undeniable. It comes from time spent in reflection, correction, and growth. Silence is not empty, it is instructional. It teaches endurance, sharpens perception, and strengthens character. While noise builds followers, silence builds leaders. While constant validation creates dependency, silence creates independence. When the season of quiet ends, those who endured it emerge stronger, clearer, and unshakable, not because life became easier, but because they became deeper. What is hidden is often misunderstood, and what is misunderstood is frequently dismissed. Yet the most meaningful transformations rarely happen in public view. A hidden process is not a sign of delay or insignificance. It is evidence of intentional design. Visibility is attractive, but readiness is essential. What is revealed too early can be damaged, misused, or destroyed. That is why the journey toward destiny often begins in obscurity, where growth can happen without pressure or interference. The hidden process works beneath the surface, strengthening foundations before building height. From the outside, it may appear as stagnation, but inwardly alignment is taking place. Character is being refined.